Rising Synchronized Souls, and welcome to your Pick a Pile. For this Pick a Pile, I'm doing things a little bit differently, and I actually mixed up oracle cards. So we have several different oracle cards in each pile. In each and every single oracle pile, there is a card from the language of letting go, a card from money and law of attraction, and of course, a card from messages from mermaids. So with that being said, I have 3 beautiful crystals here today. And which crystal do you want? Which crystal do you want? Which crystal do you want? Which one? Pick one, pick one, pick one, pick one. Okay, you picked? Awesome. You picked your crystal. That means we are going to go into crystal number 1 and pile number 1. We start off with the language of letting go. And the card that comes up for this pile first is communicating clearly. And it says, today I will communicate clearly and directly in my conversations with others, and I will strive to avoid, manipulate, indirect, or guilt-producing statements. I can be tactful and gentle or assertive if necessary, and I do what is right in the moment. I feel like a lot of souls, especially if you pick this pile, you're probably scared to say something right now, that there is something that you need to say. There's something that's been on your chest, something that's been in your throat chakra, and your guides are like, say what you gotta say, say what you gotta say. And you're like, I don't really know if I want to, right? There's this fear. Am I going to be able to communicate clearly? Am I going to be able to say what I actually want to say? And just want to remind you, how can you be in that energy to communicate clearly, right? That means showing up as yourself. When it says avoid manipulation, guilt-ridden statements, for me, that really goes into distorted feminine energy, right? That if you have something to say, we're not saying it so that we can get immediate action. We're saying it because there's something that we need to say. Really shifting the focus from not what is the solution of this outcome, but rather how am I going to feel knowing that I'm standing up for myself, knowing up that I'm speaking my truth. Really just, again, shifting the focus internally. The second card for this group, this pick a pile, is dreaming, right? And really dreaming, it was a card that already came up in a lot of our collective readings. And it's really speaking about the fact that your guides are speaking to you through your dreams right now, right? So it's really, really, really important that you pay attention to your dreams. It's really important that you take the time to figure out what it is that they're trying to tell you. And if you don't have one already, how can you put aside maybe a dream journal, a notepad, so that you can wake up and write down your dreams? If your intention is for you to remember your dreams, and that's something that I'm going to say, call in your team. Before you go to sleep, call in your team, ask them to help you remember your dreams, set that intention, and then fall asleep, right? Really just, again, being a little bit more intentional with that state. I find that my guides get very communicative in my dreams when they're trying to show me something from a past life or a future life, or if they're trying to share a collective message, or if it's just been like a reoccurring theme or ancestral pattern or karmic pattern in my own life, that usually that comes through a dream, right? I also like to say with dreams, like they're not the most reliable because you're playing with your subconscious, your unconscious. So maybe start connecting more with your guides during the day, right? Creating that space so that you can then connect with them would be very helpful. Then we have 2 cards that popped up for you for money and law of attraction. The first one was, I can transform my own world. I can transform my own world. And it says, make a list of positive aspects. Make list of things you love and never complain about anything. And as you use those things to shine bright and you make yourself feel good, your excuse is where you give that attention to. And who you are will be tuned into who you are. And the whole world will begin to transform before your eyes. It is not your job to transform the world for others, but it is your job to transform it for you. A state of appreciation and pure connection to source is where there is no perception of lack. So really just reminding y'all that, again, you're communicating something. There's this feeling of them trying to tell you something in your dreams, and they come through to say that you can transform your own world. How interesting with that, simply because dreaming, you have to dream in order for you to transform your world as well. So again, there is this shift of you starting to give your attention to things that actually feel right? Starting to give your attention to things that actually feel in alignment with you. How can you allow this to be the new normal, right? To allow yourself to lead with that pure connection. Then we have the better the story gets, the better my life gets. Begin telling the story of your desires and then add to it details of the positive aspects that you can find to match these desires. And then embellish your desires and your expectations by speculating with your good feelings. Wouldn't it be nice if, examples. You can say things like, only good things come to me, and I'll figure it out as I go along. Every time you feel your better feeling story, you will feel better, and the details of your life will improve. The better it gets, the better it gets. I love this because life is only as good as you allow it to be. Another card that comes up very recurringly. And right now our guides keep telling you, tell yourself different stories, right? That's why the communication piece is so important. What stories are you communicating to other people? What stories are you communicating to yourself? What stories are happening on cycles in your head right now? And how can you start shifting that, right? Only good things happen to me, right? I'll figure it out as long as I go. Like really being in the space of positivity. You don't need to know where it is that you're going, but you can be very intentional about reminding yourself that you can get out of it, that you can shift, that things can change. So that was pile number 1. Thank you all so much for picking. Thank you for participating. We're moving on to pile number 2. And for pile number 2, we start off with our language of letting go card, and it says showing vulnerability. Today, I will disclose who I am with someone with whom I feel safe. I will risk being vulnerable, even though I've held back from doing so. The universe helped me show people who I really am and not who they think they want me to be, right? There's this conflict right now that is happening between who you are and who other people want you to be. And I want to remind you not to people please. That yes, there is a part of you and there is a tendency, a pattern for you to bend to other people's will. And I want to remind you to stand in your convictions. There we go. To stand in your standards, right? To be okay with the fact that you are starting to want different things. This means starting to be in the space of you being okay with being vulnerable, right? People aren't going to know who you are if you do not show up as yourself. If you do not allow yourself to be vulnerable so that they can then say, this is who you are, not who I want you to be, right? There's really this call for you to shift and for you to be okay with the fact that they're asking you to be more you, asking you to be more authentic. To help you with this, the card that comes up from the messages of Mermaids is positivity, right? And she is overwhelmingly positive. She is giving you this overwhelming feeling of positivity. When you shift your thoughts, you change your life. When you change your thoughts, you change your life, right? There's this call right now for you to start showing up as yourself so that you can change your life. And maybe there's a part of you that's saying, why? And there's a part of you that's asking, are they actually going to accept me? Am I going to be able to show up as myself? Am I actually going to be me, right? Are they going to accept me for me? Am I worthy? Am I lovable? There's all of these questions, all of these fears, but none of that is grounded in positivity, right? How can you ground yourself in positivity? The pile earlier got this message of, again, the better it gets, the better it gets, right? What stories, what things can you be telling yourself so that you can allow yourself to feel positive, so that you can allow yourself to feel more positive feelings, right? Just because you haven't experienced it for a while doesn't mean that the wheel of fortune is not going to turn in your favor, right? Life is cyclical. It's the one thing that we can count on is change. So if you're looking for more positivity, it starts with you, right? It starts with the stories you tell yourself, the thoughts that you tell yourself, the feelings you attach yourself to, and really being in the state of I can change. For y'all, we have 3 different cards that came up for money and law of attraction. So obviously lots of topics right now in regards to money, and our guides are really coming through to give y'all a lot of additional information. So the first card that comes up is appreciation and gratitude are different vibrational states. Appreciation and gratitude are different vibrational states. And it says, when you feel gratitude, often you are looking at a difficulty that you have to overcome, but there is still some sort of struggle in that vibration present. The state of appreciation is seeing exactly where you are and looking at it through the eyes of source. You could walk down a crowded street with all kinds of things, and a lot of those people would find a reason to criticize or worry about, but you would not have to have access to them because your vibration of appreciation is picking up on things on a completely different vibrational state. Really, really important, right? When you start changing your thoughts and shifting the way that you show up, you actually get to transform your external world, right? You change the internal, you change the external. And they're reminding you that the more that you look through the world with eyes of gratitude and appreciation, the more that you are then going to have appreciation and gratitude reflected back to you, right? So really just reminding ourselves of that mirror aspect. What energy are you navigating in, and how can you start navigating an energy that's actually more in alignment with where it is that you're going? Second card that came up is I'm developing the skills to direct my thoughts. The most valuable skill or talent that could ever be developed is that directing your thoughts towards what you want, to be adapted to quickly evaluating all situations and then quickly coming to a conclusion of what you want and then giving that your undivided attention. There's a tremendous skill in deliberately directing your own thoughts that will yield results and that cannot be compared with results and mere action that it can provide. Right? Sometimes, and some of y'all are going into the space of what do I need to do? What actions do I need to take? And they're reminding you, you direct your thoughts, right? If you're taking all of this physical action and your thoughts and your feelings are not in alignment with the actions that you are taking, you're not taking as many strides forward as you believe. So in this place of shifting, right? In this place of becoming more vulnerable, becoming more positive, how can you start directing your thoughts to the things that you actually do want instead of the things that you do not want? And I also want to remind you that making quick decisions based on those feelings are going to allow things to happen at a faster pace, right? Being in the standstill of accepting things and trying to appreciate the things that you don't really want, even though there's this energy of struggle attached to it, isn't benefiting you, right? There is a shift. How can you shift your energy, shift your thoughts? The third card that came up for y'all is there is no shortage of time or money. What excuses have you been giving, right? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. They come through to say there is no shortage. No, none, not one, not one. And any attention to shortage of something wanted will always produce negative emotions, always. Because your guidance is letting you know that you have strayed from the broader aspect and understanding of abundance and well-being. Whether you are focused upon the shortage of money or seeing yourself as only having so many years to live, and so each day is extended into one another, being closer to the end of your years, that you are feeding the decline of contrary to your broader understanding of the internal nature of your being. I keep reminding myself more than anything, especially recently, pile number 2, that you are a soul. You are a multifaceted soul, and you have the ability to feel more than one thing, right? Really reminding yourself that at this particular point in time, there is no shortage of time or money because you are abundant. Your birthright is abundance. How can you move into a space of being okay with that, of allowing yourself to feel the abundance energy that actually exists within you, right? There's this limitation that you've been placing on yourself because we're in this human form, and I get it, but I want to remind you that we've decided to become human in this body, in this world with all of these limits, only so that you can remind yourself that you are limitless, only so that you can remind yourself that you are God, that you are a goddess, that you have the ability to create, only so that you can remind yourself that you are always and have always been connected to source, right? There is this shift, and the shift is own your fucking power. Own the fact that you are here to change things. Own the fact that you are here to make a difference. And the more that you own that vibration, the more that you show up and have that be your reality internally, the more that other people are going to start recognizing that energy in you as well. So that's what I gotta say for pile number 2. So pile number 3 coming on through. Y'all had a lot of cards come through. Y'all guides were like, we have so many things to say. So we actually have 2 cards that came up from the language of letting go. And the first card that came up is living through problems, right? No wonder they had a lot to say. It says, today I will go on living my life, tending to my routine. I will decide as often as I need to stop or obsessing about whatever is bothering me. And if I don't feel like letting go of something, I will act as if I've let go of my feelings until I've matched the behavior. Something that we say from a human perspective is fake it till you make it. From a spiritual perspective, I say believe it until you become it. When you start acting as if things are going well, when you start acting as if the conflicts in your life are gone, then guess what? You start taking actions and feelings for that thing to actually become a possibility. The more that you can believe it, the easier it's going to be for you to become it, for you to embody it, right? So no more obsessing about the things that are going wrong. Pile number 3, how can you move into a space of starting to act as if things are going well? Because they are, right? Even when things are going wrong, they're going right. Starting to shift that mindset. How do you do that? Well, they have a second language of letting go card for you, and it's focusing on peace. It says, today I will focus on a peaceful pace rather than a harried one. I will keep moving forward gently, not frantically. I will let go of my need of anxiousness, and I will start to replace these feelings with calmness and harmony, right? Calmness and harmony. Calmness and harmony. Had to change the battery there, so we're back. So how can you start letting go of these feelings with calmness and harmony, right? Really being in the space of letting yourself go, starting to act as if, so that you can actually bring in the feelings of what you do want to happen closer to you. You can only do that if you allow yourself to believe that better is possible, right? So if you are living through problems, right? If you're in this space, how can I do that? Well, you start living through those issues, accepting things as they are, but acting to act as if, as you start replacing these feelings of anxiety with feelings of calm, right? Little by little. To continue, we have 2 cards that came up from the messages of mermaids as well, right? The first one that came up was re-energized. Right? So really make time for yourself to be re-energized. You know that you've been running on empty. You know that you've been pouring all of this energy outside of you. I want y'all to discover yourself again, for you to pour back into yourself again. Okay, pile number 3. What makes you feel energized? What makes you feel drained? Really reminding yourself that right now, not only are you feeling empty, but there's people around you that are draining your energy, right? There's a lot of energetic vampires that are around y'all right now, and you're noticing this. So really starting to be intentional about, how do I feel around this person? How do I feel in this situation? How can I allow myself to go back to feeling re-energized? Because that is what you should be feeling. Right? That second card that came up for you from messages from mermaids was decisions. You're living through problems. They're asking you to focus, on peace. They move through to say, like, re-energize yourself. Part of the decisions is the fact that you know that there are some people that you need to cut off, right? You know that there are some choices that you need to make. You know that there are some changes that you need to make, and we're still avoiding it, right? You're still avoiding it. This is the time for you to act. Right? Act as if, act now. Other people have been getting the call to slow down. Y'all are getting the call to pick up speed, to start making momentum and creating momentum in your life by making some choices, right? Some choices that you've been avoiding, some things that you've been neglecting because you know that it's going to be difficult, right? I also want y'all to be open to the fact that things might actually work out pleasantly in your favor, that things might actually work out more in alignment than you could have ever imagined. Again, you keep doing this. What if things go bad? What if things go well? What if everything works out the way that you want it to? Wouldn't it be nice if? Another message that came up, I think, for pile number 1, right? They're really starting to remind yourself that you can go back to faith. You can go back into this space of pouring back into you, re-energizing yourself, and making choices that allow you to continue to do that. Fucking A card that came up. Achieving success is my natural birthright. I said this in this message. I said this in this video, right? That abundance is your birthright. Achieving success is your birthright. You are meant to succeed, and failure should feel bad to you. Life is supposed to go well for you. And when it does not, there is something wrong. But what is wrong is something that is outside of you, is not something that is outside of you. Okay. But what is wrong is not something that is outside of you or something that you have no control over. What is wrong is within you, and you do have control. And taking control is not difficult once you understand the basis of who you are, the basis of law of attraction, and the value of your personal emotional guidance system, right? So we're talking about who are you, your soul, right? Law of attraction. What are the dynamics of the dimension that we're currently operating in? And what are your emotions saying? How are they guiding you through this journey? I want to remind you that if something feels bad, it is out of alignment, right? If it feels good, it is in alignment. Yes, it is that simple, right? So if something feels bad for you, if something does not feel right now, they're telling you that is out of synchronization. You are not in alignment with where you are, with who you are. How can you allow yourself to shift into a space of being okay with the fact that success should feel good? That success is what we are here to feel, that you've been put on this earth to seek joy, to seek happiness. You cannot do that if you do not feel good. Right? Second card, funny, we got card number 4 and 3 for y'all. Like, these were the only 2 cards that were in succession, right? So card number 4 was achieving success is my natural birthright. Card number 3 is whatever I desire, I can acquire. They are coming through right now with y'all, pile number 3. The internal laws of the universe steadily holds the promise of expansion and joy. Undertaking the laws will reawaken within you the knowledge of your purpose and your own personal power as you remember that you have access to the power of the universe. If this time and space and reality within it has the ability to aspire and desire within you, it is absolutely because this time and space reality has the ability to yield a full and satisfying manifestation of the same desire. It is law. They underline that shit for you. It is law. It is law. It's underlined. It is law. It is underlined, right? Being in this space of reminding yourself that there are certain dreams that are coming to you and you keep doubting those dreams, right? Am I the one that's supposed to bring this to succession, right? Am I the one that's supposed to bring this into reality? Is this actually my dream? And they're telling you that if you can dream it, it is because it's meant to be a reality. Right? That you have the ability to yield that result because of the fact that you are dreaming it. As you enter this next journey, as you enter this next phase, how can you remind yourself that you are dreaming dreams that have 110% the ability to be successful? That you can find success in any of the dreams that you've been dreaming, because if you've been dreaming it, and if you know law of attraction and the way that the universe works, they're always bringing you closer to the things that you desire. So the question is, do you actually desire the things that you think that you desire right now, or are your desires shifting? And if you're realizing that they are shifting, how can you be okay with the fact that these bigger dreams that you are dreaming are so that you can continue to be in alignment with your higher self, right? So that you can continue to be in alignment with the part of you that is ever so expanding. As always, I hope that these messages have resonated with you. I hope that y'all let me know in the comments below which pile you picked, but also which message resonated the most. I'm super excited to connect more with y'all. Super excited to see how this month unfolds. And as always, I say, I hope you have a fucking fantastic day. Bye, synchronizing souls.